How to build a marriage that doesn't require a cape. I want to start by introducing you to someone who's changing the way we think about relationships, energy, and living without boxes. Her name is Lisa Smith, and she's a force. She lives her life unapologetically, refuses to be scripted by anyone else's expectations, and thinks for herself in a world that constantly tries to put people, especially women, into neat little categories. Lisa Smith is making the world better by reminding us that healthy marriages aren't built on perfection. They're built on intention. And today I'm sharing the wisdom from my conversation with her. Because if you're a Black woman who's been holding down everyone and everything, this message is for you. Let's be honest, most of us didn't grow up watching healthy marriages. We watched survival partnerships. We watched people stay together because leaving wasn't an option, not because thriving was the goal. We watched our mothers, our aunties, our grandmothers carry entire households on their backs while their partners, well, existed. And we internalized a very dangerous lesson that love means sacrifice until there's nothing left of you. So we entered our own marriages wearing capes, superwoman capes, savior capes. I can fix this capes. And we wonder why we're exhausted. Lisa Smith reminded me during our conversation that a healthy marriage starts with one non negotiable foundation: open communication every single day, not the surface level, how was your day kind, the kind where you actually say what you need, what you're feeling, and what's not working without apologizing for taking up space. Because here's the thing, silence in a marriage isn't peace, it's a slow leak. And eventually, the whole thing deflates. Think about Michelle and Barack Obama. I know everyone references them, but there's a reason. When Michelle talks about their marriage, she doesn't sugarcoat it. She's been very public about the fact that there were years she wanted to push Barack out of a moving car. Not because he was a bad man, but because the weight of their ambitions, their public lives, their parenting, it was crushing. They met at a Chicago law firm in 1989. Michelle was already climbing the corporate ladder, sharp and ambitious. Barack was doing community organizing, trying to change the world one block at a time. They got married in 1992. And what followed was a 30 plus year journey of navigating intense public scrutiny, career demands, and the relentless pressure of work life balance as two high achieving Black professionals. And what saved them? Daily check ins, intentional date nights, therapy, the audacity to say out loud, this isn't working right now and we need to fix it. They didn't wait until they were on the brink of divorce to communicate. They made communication the daily practice that kept them off that brink. That's the difference between a marriage that survives and one that thrives. Thriving marriages talk every day about the big stuff and the small stuff, about needs and wins and fears and dreams. They built an empire from the White House years to media influence, co authoring books like Becoming, and they did it by refusing to let silence erode their foundation. They redefined Black excellence in marriage, and they did it by choosing each other again and again through honest conversation. But communication alone isn't enough. Lisa Smith's second pillar is mutual respect and shared growth. And let me tell you, this one will convict you. Mutual respect means you don't just tolerate your partner's dreams, you uplift them. You don't just make space for their growth, you celebrate it even when it's inconvenient for you, especially when it's inconvenient for you. Because a healthy marriage isn't two people staying small so the other doesn't feel threatened. It's two people expanding together, refusing to put each other in boxes, and believing that when one wins, you both win. Roland and Leslie Martin are a perfect example of this. Roland's a media powerhouse, Leslie's a producer and entrepreneur, and together they've built an empire while raising a family. But it didn't happen by accident. They met in college, got married in 1997, and have been very open about the fact that their marriage required intentional weekly rituals, therapy sessions, and a commitment to celebrating each other's wins, even during the seasons when they were physically apart due to work. They faced long distance periods because of media gigs, public criticism, and the grind of balancing family with activism. But they didn't let distance, criticism, or the entrepreneurial hustle erode their respect for each other. They chose to see each other as partners, not competitors, as allies, not obstacles. And that choice, made over and over again, is what kept them together for over 20 years. They launched Roland Martin Unfiltered, reaching millions while maintaining family unity. They modeled what it looks like when two Black business leaders refuse to let success destroy their partnership. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. How many of us are secretly competing with our spouses? How many of us are keeping score? How many of us are withholding support because we feel like we're not getting enough in return? Mutual respect dies the moment you start treating your marriage like a transaction. It thrives when you start treating it like a partnership where both people are committed to each other's wholeness, not just their own comfort. And that brings me to Lisa Smith's third pillar: ongoing effort and celebration. Because here's the truth nobody wants to hear: healthy marriages aren't static, they're not something you achieve and then coast on. They're dynamic, living, breathing commitments that require daily tending. You can't build a strong marriage in January and expect it to still be strong in December if you've ignored it for 11 months. Marriage is like a garden. You water it, you weed it, you celebrate the blooms, and you tend to the soil even when nothing's growing, especially when nothing's growing. I think about the rising trend of multiracial marriages in the Black community. According to Brookings Institution data, nearly 3 in 10 new Black marriages are now multiracial, a massive shift from just a few decades ago. These couples are navigating cultural blending, family pushback, and societal pressures that many same race couples don't face. Part of this surge happened after 1967, when legal barriers to interracial marriage were finally dismantled. Since then, we've watched Black professionals build blended families, thriving in professional circles, blurring old divides, and contributing to family stability amid America's diversity explosion. And the ones who make it, they're the ones who commit to research driven communication, shared values workshops, and uplifting each other's growth daily. They don't ignore the hard conversations about race, culture, and identity. They lean into them. They don't pretend the differences don't exist. They celebrate them, and they don't wait for problems to arise before they invest in their relationship. They invest proactively, consistently, and intentionally. They're advancing healthy marriage norms eh, in Black communities by refusing to let societal pressures dictate their love. That's the energy we all need to bring, not just when things are falling apart, but especially when things are good. Because the couples who make it aren't the ones who never struggle, they're the ones who choose each other again and again through every season. Now, let's talk about what this means for you, specifically for the Black woman listening to this who's been running on fumes, holding down a career, a household, maybe a business, maybe aging parents, maybe all of the above. The woman who's been so busy being strong that she forgot she's allowed to be soft. Here's what Lisa Smith wants you to know: your marriage cannot thrive if you're still wearing the Superwoman cape. You cannot pour into a partnership from an empty cup. You cannot expect your spouse to meet you halfway if you're sprinting ahead, refusing help, and pretending you don't need anything. Softness in marriage isn't weakness, it's trust. It's the ability to say, I need you. It's the courage to let someone else carry some of the weight. It's the radical act of believing that you are worthy of support, not just capable of giving it. And if your partner isn't meeting you there, if your partner isn't showing up with the same energy, effort, and intention, then that's a different conversation. But you can't have that conversation if you're still pretending everything's fine. You can't demand more if you're not willing to communicate what more looks like. Here's the challenge Lisa Smith issued, and I'm passing it directly to you. This week, schedule one intentional conversation with your spouse, not about logistics, not about the kids or the bills or whose turn it is to take out the trash. A real conversation. Share one win from your week. Share one need you have right now. No boxes, no capes, just real, honest energy. And then research one tip together. Maybe it's a communication exercise. Maybe it's a boundary setting strategy. Maybe it's a date night idea. I don't care what it is. What matters is that you do it together and you commit to uplifting each other from there. Because here's the truth: healthy marriages aren't built by perfect people, they're built by imperfect people who refuse to give up on each other. They're built by two people who choose every single day to communicate openly, respect deeply, and invest consistently. They're built by people who understand that love isn't just a feeling, it's a practice, a discipline, a daily decision to show up even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And for my Black women out there, the ones who've been taught that strength means silence, that softness means weakness, that asking for help means failure, I need you to hear this. You are allowed to rest in your marriage. You are allowed to need your partner. You are allowed to take off the cape and just be. Your marriage isn't another item on your to do list. It's not another role you have to perform. It's supposed to be your soft place to land, your refuge, your partnership. And if it's not, then it's time to have the conversation that changes that. Ting. Lisa Smith's work is a reminder that we don't have to accept the survival partnerships we grew up watching. We can build something different, something whole, something soft and strong at the same time. But it starts with us being brave enough to communicate, humble enough to respect, and intentional enough to invest. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. I want you to feel empowered, hopeful, energized, ready to build or strengthen your marriage with confidence and joy, not guilt or obligation, because you deserve a marriage that doesn't require a cape. You deserve a partnership that celebrates your softness as much as your strength. You deserve love that feels like rest, not another responsibility. And it starts today with one conversation, one honest moment, one decision to choose each other again. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until things are falling apart. Don't wait until you've burned out completely. Start now, today, this week. Have that conversation. Do that research. Celebrate that win. Name that need. Your marriage is worth the effort. Your peace is worth the honesty. Your joy is worth the vulnerability. Stop surviving your marriage and start thriving in it. Stop wearing the cape and start building the partnership. Stop pretending you're fine and start being honest about what you need. Because the world doesn't need more strong Black women who are silently suffering. The world needs more soft Black women who are loudly thriving, women who know their worth, women who demand reciprocity, women who build marriages that feel like freedom, not chains. That's the soft girl era version of a healthy marriage. No capes, no boxes, just two people committed to showing up, growing together, and building something beautiful. Now go have that conversation. Go choose your partner again. Go build the marriage you deserve, not the one you inherited. And remember, softness is not surrender, it's strength redefined, it's power reclaimed, it's you finally free.